to another episode of PRIME ACTU DMV. And today we are here with EZE. We're going to be learning about real estate, the home buying process, and mortgages. But before we do that, EZE, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi guys, how you doing? My name is EZE. I'm a real estate agent. I'm licensed in the DMV. I help people purchase homes or sell homes, or if you have any questions about refinancing or credit repair, I can direct you to the right people.
Awesome, awesome. So how long have you been working in real estate?
I've been working in real estate a total about 18 years now in different
Wow, that's a
aspects.
really long. That's awesome. That's a really long time.
Yeah,
So
it's a
you're
long
going to be
time.
a great source of information. So can I ask you, what are some benefits of home ownership?
Benefits. Wow. You sure you have enough time? It's gonna take us forever. There's so many
We have
benefits.
time.
Uh, you sure? Okay, cool. I mean, there's so many benefits. Like off the top of my head, I could think of taxes. So you could definitely, like when you rent a property, you're paying rent every month, and that money disappears. So let's say hypothetically your rent is $1,000 a month. So in a year, 12,000 just goes to your landlord to help your landlord pay his mortgage. But if you were renting, that $1,000 you're spending every month on your mortgage, you could file it on your taxes. You could file the interest and the property taxes on your taxes and get money back because you own the home. That's just one.
Right.
Two, the value of your home just increases over time. So it's almost like you're saving money in the home where you live. So let's say you purchase a home hypothetically for $200,000 and you live there for 10 years and the value of the home goes from 200,000 to 400,000 while you're actually living in there, that means you have money in the home. You have $200,000 equity in the home. So you're getting from taxes and the value of your home is increasing simultaneously. It just, just so much. That's just the name, just two.
Yeah, those are some really good benefits. So you just shared some benefits with us.
Mhm.
Can you share some disadvantages, if any?
Disadvantages. The only disadvantage I could think of that I hear people mention periodically is, well, if I buy a home, I'm forced to live there. I wouldn't be able to move around like I would like to move around. And for that, what I tell people is like, you could always rent the property out or you could sell it and make money from it, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I've heard that a lot as well. So can you tell me, so how long on average does it take for you to build equity on a home?
It depends on the economy. There's so many factors, so you just can't, be definitive. Some homes build more equity than other homes. So like, let's say you purchase a single family home, it increases in value faster than a condo would increase in value. So I can't really say, okay, after 2 years, but just over time, you build equity, especially if you purchase in a good location, like Washington, D.C., close to a metro station, close to a mall, things like that that increases the value of the neighborhood.
Yeah, so it's really good for you to basically be a homeowner, right? So a lot of people,
Yes, yes.
come here. So can you say whether or not it's possible for undocumented immigrants to become homeowners?
Yeah, anybody could become homeowners. It's just the difference is if you're documented and you're a citizen, for example, the down payment that's required is lower. So all you have to do, if you're a first-time home buyer, you're a citizen, all you have to do is put down 3.5%. But if you're undocumented or you just don't have the paperwork, because the banks are skeptical or scared, they want you to put a larger down payment down. So you have to put 30% down. So to put it in perspective for you so you can see the number, let's say you're trying to buy a home that's $300,000, right?
Yeah.
If you're a first time home buyer, American citizen, all it will cost you to put down will be 10,500. But if you're not a citizen, it will require to put 30% down, and that's about $90,000 for the same exact home. So, and
So
the average person will find it difficult to save $90,000. But the $10,500, you and your wife could go, could split 5,000, 5,000. So it makes it more affordable for citizens.
So would you say it's more difficult for undocumented citizens to get loans?
I would say that, yes, definitely. Definitely. It's more challenging, but it's doable, but it's more challenging.
Okay, well, so right now, part of the process of buying homes and, what advantage you may or may not have is the state of the market. So can you tell us, what is a seller's market?
Right now, we're in a seller's market as of this moment. And basically what a seller's market means is the sellers, they're just there are more buyers than homes available. So what happens now is the sellers are in control. So things that you usually could ask the sellers to do, they're not really doing it anymore. So in the past, you ask, hey, could you help me cover my closing cost, or could you help me do this? But right now, for every home that is on the market, there are more people interested in buying it, and some of these people are trying to buy cash. Some of these people are waiving the closing cost. They're waiving different things. So basically, a seller's market just means the sellers are in control of the game right now.
Okay, so can you also tell us what is a buyer's market in that case?
The exact opposite. Lots of properties available, fewer buyers. So when that happens, the sellers are trying to attract the buyers because they don't have enough buyers to buy the home. So the sellers are offering all kinds of incentives to buyers so they could come buy their home. Like, hey, I'll pay your closing costs for you, or hey, I'll take care of the tax and recordation. I'll pay for everything, or I'll reduce the price by 10,000 or 20,000. That's when buyers in control. That's a buyer's market.
So you said that right now we're in a seller's market. Can you tell us what some of the advantages might be of buying a home in a seller's market?
Right now, the advantage also right now in this current market is the interest rates are lower than they usually are. So as of like last year, the interest rates like 4%, 4.5%. But now the interest rates have dropped. It's about a couple of months ago, it was in the twos, like you get 2 point something percent. Now it's in the threes, which is still relatively low. So that's the advantage. So you could buy a home and pay the bank back less. The interest rates are lower.
So from a buyer's perspective, what are the benefits of buying a home in a seller's market? And what are the major challenges that they might face?
So from a buyer's perspective,
Yes.
the
So what are
advantages.
some of the challenges that they might
So
face? Major challenges that they might face
the
while doing
the major challenge that the buyer faces, too many buyers trying to buy the same home, getting
that?
outbidded. So you see a home that's going for is listed for 300,000, but there's 7 other people trying to buy that home. So some people are saying, "Oh, I'll pay 310." This other person says, "I'll pay 330." So for a buyer who's only approved for only 300,000, you know, there's
Difficult.
nothing, you can't do anything. It's just very difficult. So
Yeah.
now what buyers are doing is they have to look at homes lower. So if you're pre-approved for 300,000, you shouldn't look at $300,000 homes. You need to look at 250 so that you could price up.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So on the opposite side of that coin, like what are some major challenges that individuals might face in buying a home in a buyer's market?
Uh, mm,
Let's see.
it's a buyer's market. They're winning. Yeah. I mean, it all depends on the interest rate at that time.
Hmm.
But like interest rate changes. But if it's a good interest rate and it's a buyer's market, you're in a perfect situation because the sellers are trying to attract you.
Awesome, awesome. So these are all good things to know when you're preparing to buy a house, right? So can you tell us
Yeah.
what credit score would you need in Montgomery to buy a home in
Yeah. The
Maryland?
minimum credit score required is 620. That's the minimum credit score required to get a loan
In
for the
Maryland
house.
or overall?
That's overall.
Okay.
Overall.
So how would a prospective home buyer improve their credit before they tried to buy a home if that was something that they needed to do?
One of the advice I give is like you could get a secured credit card. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. But a
Yes, yes.
secured you're okay, perfect. Secured credit card. You get a secured credit card, and you pay it off in 6 months. You use it, then you pay it off. Use it, then pay it off, and that helps to boost your credit score. You reduce all expenses, no major expenses at that time when you're trying to buy a home. Pay all your bills on time as well.
So, could you explain for our audience, in case they wanted to try and do this, what a secured credit card is?
A secured credit card is a credit card that you can get from your bank, your local bank, or the bank you bank with, and basically you give the bank money and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you $1,000." Then the bank gives you a credit card that has $1,000 on the credit card. So you use this credit card for your daily purchases, gas, groceries, but every month you pay your monthly requirements. Even though the bank is holding the $1,000, you still pay it every month. Then after 6 months, that helps increase your credit score.
So, as you said before, it might be really difficult for you to have enough money to just outright purchase a home. So, you're probably going to need a loan, right? So, can you explain to us what loan qualifications are?
Or loan qualification, there are things that the loan officer looks at before they decide they can loan you money. Because the bank is, they're about to loan you, let's say, $500,000. They don't know you. They never met you before. They say, "Hey, I want to loan you, $500,000." So first thing first, they want to see is what kind of person you are, a financial person, what kind of person you are financially. And what they use to judge that is your credit score. So if you have a credit score of 300, that tells the bank a story. Like this person doesn't care. It doesn't care about paying bills on time. It doesn't pay bills on time. Like the person just doesn't care. But if your credit score is 800 or 850, that tells the bank a story like, oh, okay, we could trust them with 500,000. They check your credit score, and the bank wants to see your W-2s for the past 2 years. They want to see how much you've been making. Have you been working consistently for 2 years? Do you work for like a month and quit for like three? Like they want to see that. And they check your credit score. They check if you're working for 2 years. They check to see how much you make every month, and they compare that to how much you spend every month. And based on these three calculations, that's how the bank comes up with exactly how much they're going to loan you. If they see like, okay, you make this amount, that you spend this amount, but you have this amount left, so your debt to income ratio is good, then they'll lend you more money.
So that sounds like it's a very complicated process. Like there's a lot of steps that you need to go through. So it could be quite confusing for people to go through this process alone. So can you tell us who are some of the professionals that you might have to engage with when you're trying to buy a home?
Me, you know, that's why the clients need to call me because like my name is easy. I make the whole process really easy. I work with the credit repair specialists. I work with the loan officers. I work with the banks. I have relationships with the builders. I have a relationship with everybody in the real estate industry.
Awesome, awesome. So you're going to be a great help, great resource for everyone. So
Yeah.
everybody, make sure you contact Easy. So loan officers. What is a loan officer? You mentioned that earlier. So what is a loan officer, and can a buyer get their loan officer and form a realtor just by themselves?
Yeah. You can get a loan officer yourself. All you have to do is go to your local bank and tell them, "Hey, I want to buy a home," and they will provide you with the in-house loan officer. But the advantages of talking to a realtor is, I work with loan officers all the time. I know the strong ones, I know the weak ones. I could guide you and take you to the loan officer who I know is aggressive. You could reach on weekends. You could reach them at this like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. There's some loan officers like that, and there's some other loan officers you don't know. You're just rolling the dice. So when you go to the bank, it's okay, but you're still kind of rolling the dice. But if you come to me, for example, I could guide you and direct you to the right loan officer.
Perfect, perfect. So a major part of buying a home is just qualifying for a mortgage, correct? So can you tell us what,
Yeah.
being pre-qualified means for
Being
mortgage?
pre-qualified is basically being pre-qualified for basically like similar to what I said earlier. The bank just checks certain things. your credit score, your debt to income ratio, how much you made for the past 2 years. They do the calculations and they say, okay, based on what we've seen, we're going to loan you this amount of money. They give you a letter, a pre-approval letter, and that's what we use to start searching for homes.
So I think a question or that some people might have is, does the being pre-qualified reflect whether or not you will actually be approved?
Oh yeah,
So if,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Because if they're not going to be approved, they're not going to pre-qualify you. Once they pre-qualify you, you have a strong chance, very strong chance of getting approved.
So could you start the pre-qualification process with a realtor?
Well, I mean, the realtor connects you to the loan officer, and the loan officer pre-qualifies you.
Right, perfect. So another thing that we have questions about is a good faith estimate. So what is a good faith estimate?
Good faith estimate is when you see this has to do with real estate, right?
From a loan officer, what is a good faith estimate?
Similar to getting pre-approved.
Okay.
It's similar to that.
So you said you can connect us to several people that we would need to be working with in the process of buying a home. So is that the overall role of a realtor, or is there something else that is the most forefront role? So what exactly is the main role of the realtor?
The main role of a realtor is after you're pre-qualified, his job is to find you your dream home. The realtor interviews you and asks you, hey, you're pre-approved for this amount. What neighborhood do you like? Do you have children? Because some people, because they have children who are in schools right now, they want to still stay in that same school district. So like they get, how many bedrooms are you interested in? Do you want a basement? Do you plan on renting out any rooms in your homes? Because some people might want to purchase a home and rent out the basement to other people. So all these questions are the questions that a real estate agent asks to provide you exactly what you want. That's his main job.
Yes, and these are all very important questions, right? And there are several different types of homes. So thank God we have people like yourself who are here to help us navigate through that. We have condos, we have
Sure.
townhouses. So can you tell us what type of homes are available for purchase?
All homes available for homes, single family homes, townhomes, condos, mobile homes, tiny homes. I don't know if you heard about tiny homes. Tiny homes, all these are available and your also can help you find all this. It all depends on your pre-approval though. It all
Okay.
depends on how much you're pre-approved for.
So how would you say is the best way for somebody to figure out what type of home would fit them, their lifestyle, and their needs? What are some things that they would need to consider?
The first thing is the money, like how much are you pre-approved for? So if you're pre-approved for in this particular area, if you're pre-approved for 200,000, you're very limited to what you could do. So you're kind of stuck in the condo situation. So the money plays a major role. If you're pre-approved for $1 million, then you're open to choose whatever you like. So the finances, plays a major role in what you pick. Then the size of your family, if you have five, if you're a family of five, family of six, a single family home will be the most realistic, the best fit.
So after you've decided what type of home is going to fit your lifestyle, what type of home fits your budget, and you decide, hey, I want to
Mhm.
get this home, and you put in an offer. So what is a home inspection, and why should home buyers have a home inspection?
So what happens is, I guess, say you find a home, you put an offer on a home, and you decide, and the seller of the home decides and says, "Hey, Diana, this we're going to sell you this home. We like your offer. It's a strong offer. We're going to sell you this home." The immediate next day, the next step is we hire an inspector to inspect the home from top to bottom to make sure we're not getting like a home with a problem. So the inspector checks the roof, the sockets, the water, if it's running hot or cold water. Inspect the home from top to bottom. That's what the inspector does to make sure we're purchasing the right home for you.
Okay. Well, so something that we hear about, people will buy a home, they fall in love with a home, they put in an offer, but a little while later, suddenly they have buyer's remorse. How often does this happen? And have you encountered it? How often have you encountered it?
I've encountered it a couple of times. I'm encountering it right now with a client right now. And but you just sit them down and explain to them like, hey, you've told your landlord that you're moving out. You want to turn back now, like, because usually before they buy the home, they've already given the landlord 30-day notice. So they start asking questions like, are you sure this is the right one? What if they're cheating us? What if they're overpriced? Like, start asking questions like that. So it's my job to explain to them that, look, we have an appraiser. The appraiser is going to appraise the value of the home. There's no way the bank is going to let you pay more for the house than what it's worth. Then what if there's something wrong with the roof? Then explain to them the inspector, that's his job. That's all he does. He's going to inspect the home, make sure everything in the home is okay to protect you. Because the bank is the bank's investment. So technically it's the bank's money. So the bank is doing everything to make sure they're investing in the right home. So the bank is making sure there's an inspection. The bank is making sure the property is appraised for the right amount. So I sit there now and explain this, and usually, they they go ahead with it. But I've never seen a situation where they turn around and say, "No, I don't want the home anymore."
All right. So if you do end up in that situation, are you just going to need some time to, adjust, or is there any actual way for you to actually get out of the home outside of selling it? So you're just going to have to resell that home.
Oh, if you have a ratified contract, it'll be difficult because the seller could sue you for not, because you have a contract agreement saying you want to buy the house. So if you want to walk away from the deal, there has to be a really legitimate reason, because they will either sue you, and there's something called an earnest money deposit. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's a deposit that most buyers usually make when they purchase a home. So the earnest money deposits gets, taken, and you might get sued. So it has to be for you to get that far, it has to be a legitimate reason.
So most banks give out loans for 30 years. Are there penalties for paying earlier than that?
No, 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 no. What I tell my clients all the time is like, all you have to do is pay one mortgage extra every year, just one mortgage extra, and that cuts the life of your loan from 30 years to 23 years. It cuts it by 7 years if you just pay one extra mortgage payment. Some clients prefer doing 15 years. If you could afford it, 15 years, because what 15 paying your mortgage off in 15 years does is it increases the equity in your home faster, and you own the home faster. But most people can't afford it. Let's say it's $1 million house, $600,000 house, and you're trying to divide that into 15 years, and increases your mortgage payments by like maybe 20, 30%. So the average person, you know, will just rather just stretch it out for 30 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, real estate sounds like it's a really good investment, and it's been a hot topic for several years, and it's said to be a good investment. So, what are some recommendations for purchasing real estate as an investment?
Well, I advise everybody to do it. After you buy your first home, I advise people to try and get a second investment property, where you could get tenants to pay your mortgage off for you. Like, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm working with a client right now. She purchased a home in 1996, right? She paid $78,000 for that home. So I just listed a property for her, and we found a buyer, and they're paying $700,000 cash, right? And this
Yeah.
is relatively like a short amount of time, right? But what I asked her was like, what if you bought two? So she had purchased that first property for $78,000 then, and purchased another property and rented it out and have tenants pay that rent for her. Right now, she'll be able to sell two of them, or she'll be worth $2 million, as opposed to just the 700,000 she's getting. So I tell people all the time, like, if you can, and you're disciplined enough, because with tenants you have to be disciplined, you have to be on it. and you're disciplined enough, you should try and, especially in this area, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, there's just always a flood of people moving here. So getting tenants is relatively easy to get tenants.
Definitely. So it sounds like it's definitely a good investment. So is this something that's going to be, so if you're new to real estate, how would you say is the best way for you to get involved in real estate if you wanted to get involved in it as a form of investment?
Real estate investment, or it's just basic. It's not as difficult as it sounds. You could the reason one of the reasons why I fell in love with real estate was because it's in other businesses. Like, let's say you own the restaurant, for example, you have to be at the restaurant. You have to be involved with the restaurant business. Let's say you own the nightclub, you have to be there working. But with real estate, it's a lot about delegation. So after you find your tenants and they move into your property, the tenants will call you periodically. Hey, the sink is not working. So you, as the landlord, you call a plumber and just delegate. It's just merely about delegating. So you could run a business and still have your job. So you could still have your 9 to 5 job where you're making money, and you could run this real estate business, renting to people. You know, I think it's. I think it's one of the best businesses.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a good, especially with the story that you shared with us. It definitely sounds like it's a good investment. So, I mean, how are some ways we have, like you mentioned, undocumented immigrants or maybe individuals
Hmm.
who may not be as well versed in, you know, being able to, maybe they may not speak English as well, but they want to get involved in that process. Are there any resources or any tips or recommendations that you might have for them?
Undocumented only, or just anybody?
Anybody. So it could be anybody, but for people who might be immigrants, do you have any
Hmm.
tips for them?
I mean, I work with a lot of immigrants. That's kind of, I work with a lot of immigrants. So, and first thing I'll tell you to try and find me. First thing, if you're an immigrant, you're trying to buy a house or you're trying to invest in real estate, ask somebody about the easy way, and they'll direct you to me, and I can assist you in that way. But if you're in a different part of the country, you can't reach me. My advice to you is to save as much as you can. Save, 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 save. Monitor your credit, and just go aggressive. Put 20% down or 30% down, and and just push. It's not going to be easy. You have to be disciplined about this, because
Definitely, definitely.
everything is challenging. Everything that's going to bring you greatness is going to be challenging. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park, but real estate is one of the fastest ways of becoming successful. Like, you can use real estate to, for example, that lady I told you about. She purchased a home for 78,000, and now it's worth 700,000.
Yeah,
If that lady was saving that money and if she didn't purchase that property and she tried to save money from then to now, she won't be able to save $700,000. But with real estate, you could grow your wealth exponentially. You
yeah,
know, like, what's that? She made 10 times what she invested,
yeah.
and she still lives there. So it's not like she's working. It's just like she lives in the property and that's it. I know I'm getting off course, but yeah.
No,
Sorry, forgive me.
definitely. Yeah, it's good
Uh,
information. So on that
yeah.
note, what are some pitfalls to avoid, especially for immigrants who may not fully understand the process of home buying? I know you said to contact you and you would help to
Mhm.
walk them through it, but what are some pitfalls that they may want to avoid?
Shortcuts. Just don't try and take any shortcuts. There are different kind of real estate agents or loan officers that tell you, oh, you could do this, you could do that. No, just do it the straightforward way, do it the legal way, save as much as you
Mm,
can, get your credit together. If you can't make any moves on your own because you're undocumented, maybe you could partner with a family member who's documented, and you could purchase a home together.
yeah, that's really
And
good advice.
Yeah, like I say, you have a cousin or a brother who's a citizen. You could buy a property with that brother. The brother will be on the loan, but you'll be on the deed of the home, and you guys will be partners. And that's like one of the ways you could avoid putting 30% down. You could, partner with different people.
So you work in Montgomery County, right? So can you tell us what is the current market in Montgomery County? Is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market?
Well, I work all over. I work in DC, Maryland, Virginia, Montgomery County, PG County, all the counties I work there. But right now, it's a seller's market in the whole DMV.
Mm.
It's a seller's market right now in the whole DMV. There's lots of opportunities, though. There's not. You shouldn't use the seller's market as an excuse, because there's still deals out there. As long as you're aggressive and you listen to what I say, you know,
so,
we'll make it
so,
work.
so can you tell us what are some of the most sought after areas in the DMV? So which ones are the most affordable?
Well, I can't tell you any sought after area that's affordable because but DC is up there. DC is up there. It's really up there. Montgomery
Yeah.
County is up there because of the schools. Howard County is up there also because of the schools. The schools. PG County, is up there too. But in the DMV, DC, Montgomery County, Howard County. I'm not trying to talk about any county, but like Montgomery County is definitely sought after. And so because it's so sought after, you don't get you get more for your money when you go to other counties. So in PG County, you get like a larger place, maybe two-car garage, big backyard. And for that same amount of money you spent in PG County, you might. Get a two-bedroom in DC. Yeah.
That's a huge
So
difference. So can
that's
you
a
tell
huge
us
difference. Yeah.
what's the median home price in Montgomery County compared to maybe a place like PG County? So what's the median home price? Can you tell us?
For what kind of home though? Like a
So
single family home or
yeah, a single family home.
like a single family home off the top of my head in PG County, you could still find single family homes for like 450, a little bit older. But for 450 in Montgomery County, it'll be very, very difficult to find a single family home. You probably find townhouses for that price, older townhouses for that price. And in DC, you can't even dream about, buying a single family home for 450. Yeah.
So how many days on average would you say homes are on the market right now?
Every day, every day, every month, no matter what goes on, 5,000 homes get sold and bought in Maryland every month.
So do homes sit on the market for a long time, or do they just get snatched up really quickly?
But right now, because it's a seller's market, they're going fast. As long as it's priced right, like people, because there are more buyers than homes available, so the buyers are like hawks, And now because of technology, it's not like they're dependent on real estate agents to send them properties. They have different things on their phones like Redfin. So as soon as a property gets on the market, the buyer personally gets it on his phone and contacts the agent sometimes. So things are
So
moving really quick right now.
So can you tell us which homes are going as fast? Are they the newer properties or are they the older ones? Or are people just buying them to renovate them?
Everything, everything is even like the because there's so many buyers that the investors and the developers they're rushing to buy properties too. Then the builders are trying to build as many properties as they can because they have these buyers who want houses. So like on every level of real estate, like everybody's selling. There's not one that's doing better than another one.
So can you say what are the benefits to purchasing a new home or purchasing in an older home?
Yeah, I tell my clients all the time, like, if you have to choose, I'll choose a new home any day of the week. Because with technology, they have like this energy efficient refrigerators. Your electricity bill is lower than an older home. Like it's new, and they have like new. Everything is newer. Like so, you're winning in so many ways by going with a new home. But the problem with the new home is it's just expensive. You know, it's
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah,
So
that's the problem.
what
Like the new homes are more expensive.
so what mistakes should prospective home buyers avoid when they're purchasing a new home as opposed to when they're purchasing an older home? What are some of the mistakes that they
The
might
biggest
make?
the biggest mistake I've seen them make a lot is thinking they don't need a real estate agent. Thinking like they could just go buy a brand new home. Oh, I'll just talk to the builder myself. It can't be that difficult. I can negotiate it on my own. That's the biggest mistake. And they lose without even knowing they're losing. Because, for example, I do this every day, 16 hours a day. This is like my job. Every day I do this. Like I sell houses all the time. So and you're a new buyer, this is my lane. You can't know more than I do. So when you go to a brand new builder, you're dealing with people. That's their job. Their opportunities you could get. They're like the incentives they could give you that they normally won't give you if the real estate agent is not right next to you. They could just maneuver around and they could make you pay more. I'm not saying that they do that, but because this is what I do and I work with builders all the time. Like I can say, hey, Dan Ryan is offering $15,000. Sellers help. Things like that. That if you go in by yourself, you wouldn't be able to negotiate.
Definitely, definitely. Well, you've given us
Yeah.
so much good information. We found out,
Yeah.
qualifying, being pre-approved, and even knowing that we could come and contact you to help walk us through this home buying process. Is there anything else that you would want to leave the audience with?
You guys should follow me on social media I make a lot of videos, educational videos that talks a lot about what we talked about. Plus, I show a lot of homes on my page. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. EZE_OKWOD. You should check me out and call me. My number is 301-559-2872.
Okay, and your handles for
Yeah, that's what I
Instagram?
gave. Is
Awesome, awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's EZE_OKWOD.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. You've definitely been very informative, and we definitely appreciate having you here. And we'll get in contact with you again sometime soon.
Thanks so much. Take it easy.
Bye.